All right, ready to dive into some fascinating AI. Today we're talking multi-agent systems.
Multi-agent systems.
And no, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not about robots taking over.
Right.
It's way more interesting.
Much more.
Think about it like, imagine a bunch of specialized software programs.
Okay.
Each one has its own unique skills.
Yeah.
But they all work together as a team.
Like a dream team.
That's the power of multi-agent systems.
Yeah. Yeah.
So instead of having this one giant AI that's trying to do everything,
right.
you have this collaborative approach.
Yeah. A team of experts, each tackling a different piece.
And that's where OpenAI's Swarm comes in.
Swarm.
We're going to get a sneak peek at how these multi-agent systems might be structured and managed in the future.
Okay.
Now, full disclosure, Swarm is still experimental, mainly meant for learning and exploration.
Yeah.
But honestly, the possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's really like a glimpse behind the scenes of how AI is developing. Yeah. And what's particularly exciting is how Swarm lets us break down these super complicated tasks into smaller pieces that are much more manageable.
Yeah.
And then each piece is handled by an agent that's perfect for that specific job.
So like an assembly line, but for solving problems.
Exactly.
So walk us through this a little bit.
Okay.
What are the core components that make up Swarm?
So the heart of Swarm, it has two main building blocks.
Okay.
Agents and handoffs.
Okay.
So the agents are like those specialists that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Each one has its own set of instructions and tools.
Right.
Like a worker with a really specific set of skills.
Got it.
And then the handoffs.
Okay.
That's where the magic happens.
Okay.
Is how the agents pass work back and forth.
So it's like a relay race.
Exactly.
And they're just passing off pieces of the problem.
Yeah, until they reach a solution.
I like that.
And just to show how specific these agents can be, there's this great example, the haiku agent.
Wait a minute, the haiku agent.
Yeah.
What's that?
This agent is programmed to only communicate using haikus.
Really?
Yeah.
You're telling me this thing solves problems and writes poetry?
Well, it highlights how great Swarm's modularity is.
Okay.
You can have agents that are designed for these super specific tasks.
Right.
And then the system figures out how to use all their efforts to get the job done.
Okay, so let's get practical here.
Yeah.
Why would anyone use Swarm if it's not ready for real-world applications yet?
Right.
Is this just an academic thing?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's like a playground for AI developers.
Okay.
It's a safe space to play around and experiment.
Yeah.
And push the limits of multi-agent systems.
Okay.
And one of Swarm's best features is its flexibility.
Oh.
It's lightweight. You can customize it.
Yeah.
It's like building with Legos.
Okay.
You snap together all the different agents and handoffs to make something perfect for the problem you're trying to solve.
So it's more about exploring what we can do with this kind of AI, rather than actually building like the next big app or something.
Exactly.
So one thing I do want to mention, it's important to know the difference between Swarm and something like OpenAI's Assistant API assistants. Those are more like polished, ready-made solutions. Swarm is more of a blank canvas.
Yeah.
It's a toolkit for people who want to go deeper.
Right.
So for all the programmers listening who are excited to try this out, what's it like to work with Swarm?
Well, the great thing is Swarm is built on Python.
Okay.
It's a really popular language, easy to learn.
Yeah.
And you can actually try it out yourself.
Cool.
And to get you started, there's a function called client.run.
Okay, so this is like what you do to get things going.
Yeah, it's like setting your team in motion.
Okay.
You give it the problem you want to solve,
right,
and client.run starts everything up.
Okay, so what happens next? Does it just disappear?
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
This is where things get really cool.
Okay.
Swarm has this streaming capability.
Okay.
Which I find really fascinating.
Okay, what is that?
Well, you can see results in real time as the swarm's working.
So we're not talking about just like a little spinning wheel, right?
No.
Like what kind of real-time results are we talking?
Well, it depends what it's doing.
Okay.
But imagine text updates popping up.
Okay.
Progress bars moving.
Yeah.
Or even a visual representation of the problem being solved.
Wow.
It's like you have X-ray vision.
So it's like you're watching a team of experts collaborating in real time.
Exactly.
You can see each one contributing.
And this transparency is really helpful for developers.
Okay.
It helps you understand how the swarm is working.
Okay.
Find any bottlenecks.
Yeah.
And fine-tune things for better performance.
I like that.
So we've covered the basics, what Swarm is, and why you'd use it.
Yeah, the what and the why.
But I think it's time to see this in action.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's dive into that airline example.
Okay.
I think it's something everyone can relate to. I mean, who hasn't had a frustrating experience with airline customer service?
Ugh, don't even get me started.
Right.
Just thinking about being on hold gives me anxiety.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's this airline example?
So imagine a swarm that's built to handle all kinds of customer requests.
Okay.
You could have agents just for booking flights,
Okay.
managing reservations, tracking luggage,
Okay.
even giving you real-time updates on delays.
So instead of getting stuck in that phone tree
Exactly.
or fighting with a chatbot,
Yeah.
you're connected to the right person right away.
Exactly.
Okay, right.
And because each agent is so specialized,
Yeah.
they're really efficient at their job.
Okay. So everyone wins.
Exactly.
This is like the dream come true for travel.
Right.
But there's got to be more to it.
Oh, there is.
Okay, like what?
So there's this thing called context variable.
Context variables.
Okay.
Okay.
It plays a really important role in how those swarm agents work together.
Okay, tell me more. Why should I care about context variables?
Think of it like a shared memory or a message board where the agents can leave notes and updates,
Okay.
share information,
Gotcha.
keep track of progress.
So they're not all working in isolation.
No, they're constantly communicating,
Yeah.
sharing what they know,
Right.
and building off of each other's work.
So that's what makes the whole system smarter.
Exactly. That constant communication is key.
Yeah, it's like a team of experts brainstorming,
Exactly.
bouncing ideas off of each other,
Yeah.
and getting better as they go.
Another cool thing,
Okay.
the instructions that define what each agent does
Yeah.
can be written in regular Python code.
So we're talking lots of flexibility here.
Okay.
Developers can do basically anything.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
All right, so we've got specialized agents, seamless handoffs, real-time results,
Yeah.
flexible coding. What else?
Well, Swarm also has built-in tools for measuring how well your multi-agent system's doing.
Okay.
It's like a coach for your AI team.
So you can track how well it's working
Yeah,
and tweak it to make it better.
exactly. That evaluation is crucial.
Yeah,
It lets developers fine-tune their swarms.
to make them work better.
Right, more efficient over time.
My mind is officially blown.
It's a lot. Right.
This whole swarm thing feels like we're looking into the future of complex AI systems.
I agree. It's a very exciting development.
For sure.
And it makes you think about how this could really change things.
And that's what we're going to be diving into next.
Right.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our deep dive on OpenAI's Swarm. I'm ready to keep going.
For sure. So before the break, we were really getting into how Swarm works, like all the technical details. But
Right.
I think it's time to zoom out a little bit
Okay.
and think about the bigger picture.
I agree. It's important to consider the ripple effects, right?
Yeah, like how could a multi-agent system like Swarm change how we interact with technology?
Exactly. Or even the world around us.
Yeah, so for example,
Yeah.
the source material mentioned that Swarm isn't really made for building real-world applications yet.
Yeah, it's more experimental right now.
Exactly, but what if that changes?
Mm.
What if down the road something like Swarm could actually be behind entire companies?
That's interesting to think about.
Right.
Imagine a company where, like, every department, every process is run by a swarm of AI agents.
Yeah,
It could really change how we think about efficiency.
totally. It would be like having a workforce that never sleeps.
Yeah.
It's always learning, always getting better.
And no coffee breaks.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's probably a bit of an oversimplification.
Yeah.
But still, it's easy to see how this could change how we work.
Yeah. And it's not just the workplace.
Right.
I'm thinking about how this could change our everyday lives.
Uh-huh.
Right now, we interact with AI in pretty limited ways.
Like voice assistants?
Yeah, chatbots, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But with something like Swarm, it feels like AI could be way more integrated.
Absolutely. Imagine having your own personal swarm of AI agents.
So
Going behind the scenes, helping you with your schedule,
right?
your finances, your health, even your social life.
So it's like having a team of invisible assistants.
Exactly. They're always there.
Okay, that sounds kind of cool,
Right.
but also a little creepy.
I get it. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Totally.
And it brings up those questions about control and transparency.
Yeah.
Who's designing these things?
Yeah. And how do we make sure they're used ethically?
That's a big one, especially as they get more sophisticated.
Exactly.
It's not just about technical safeguards either.
Right.
We need to think about the bigger picture.
Yeah, like the societal implications.
Exactly. How do we make sure they're fair,
Yeah,
unbiased, accessible to everyone?
right.
How do we make sure they're not used for bad stuff?
Okay, so it's clear that Swarm has the potential to be really transformative.
It does.
But with that comes a lot of responsibility.
A lot.
And I think it's important to remember,
Yeah.
even if you're not a programmer, Understanding these ideas gives you a glimpse into where AI might be going.
It's like a roadmap to the future.
Exactly.
AI is already changing our lives.
Yeah.
And that's only going to speed up in the next few years.
Right. And by understanding how these systems work, we can be more prepared for what's coming and have more informed discussions about AI's role in society.
I agree.
I think this is a good spot to pause for a moment.
Okay.
We've talked about a lot.
From the technical details to the big picture stuff.
Yeah, from the inner workings of Swarm to how it could change the world.
And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some even more thought-provoking questions about the future of AI.
Can't wait.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So we've been talking about OpenAI's Swarm. And it's clear this feels like something big.
Definitely. We've just scratched the surface.
Right. Like we've explored how it works, its potential, but like with any powerful technology, we got to look at the
other side of the coin.
Exactly. So for this last part, what are some of the potential downsides?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is the impact on jobs.
Right. If these AI agents can do what people do now, what happens to those jobs?
It's a real concern.
Yeah, it's not about being afraid of progress.
Right.
It's about, being ready for the changes it brings.
Absolutely.
So how do we navigate that? What are the solutions?
I think we need to see this as a societal problem.
Okay.
Not just a tech problem.
Yeah.
We need everyone involved, policymakers, industry leaders, educators, all working together to help people adapt.
So it's about giving people the skills they need for the future.
Exactly. For a world with more and more AI.
And we have to ask those tough questions. Like, how do we make sure everyone has access to these new opportunities?
Right. How do we bridge the digital divide?
Those are important discussions to have now.
Absolutely, before it's too late.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about building a future that works for everyone.
Exactly. And while jobs are a big concern, there are other risks too.
Like what?
What about misuse? Could someone use Swarm for bad things?
That's always a possibility with any new tech.
Right, it's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used in different ways.
So how do we guard against that?
Well, we need strong security, ethical guidelines, and research into AI safety.
So it's about making sure these AI systems are aligned with our values.
Exactly. Trustworthy and beneficial.
So it's a balancing act, right? Pushing the boundaries, but doing it responsibly.
Yeah. Finding that sweet spot.
And this is where the conversation needs to be bigger than just tech people.
Right. It needs to involve everyone.
Policymakers, ethicists, all of us.
Because the future of AI, it's not set in stone.
Yeah.
It's being shaped right now by the decisions we're making.
And that's something I want our listeners to take away from this.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a programmer, just being aware of these concepts, it gives you a voice in this conversation.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power.
Right. The more you understand, the better equipped you are to help shape this future.
A future that aligns with your values.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Swarm, I want to leave everyone with a challenge.
A challenge.
Keep asking questions, stay informed, and don't be afraid to have those tough conversations about AI.
Because the future of AI isn't something that's just happening to us.
Yeah.
We're all creating it together.
Well said. And with that, we'll bring this deep dive to a close.
It's been a good one.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay curious.